Hello, welcome, and welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz, and I will be guiding you on this journey. So, it's April. These messages really are, kind of whenever you see them, but I do tend to do them at least monthly. So this month we're using the Work Your Light Oracle deck, and then we're using the Wandering Moon Tarot for additional information. We'll get an Oracle card for the overall vibe, and then of course pull 6 tarot cards and see what the vibe is. I have my little bowl here of all of the zodiac, all of the human design profile numbers. I'm just gonna pick one. This has got to be Libra. Okay. Like Libra was the last zodiac sign. I think there's only 3 profiles left for this go round. Okay. Let's see for Libra. This is like the perfect time of day, like lighting wise. And I never do readings around this time. That was actually too many. Otherwise, I have my little artificial lights around here. Anyway, I don't know why that matters, but I'm mentioning it. Something about, okay. Something about being all natural or something. I don't know. Oh my gosh. Hands not working. Okay. This says get grounded. Empaths, highly sensitives, connect with nature. Beautiful. Okay. We'll get the rest of your tarot cards out, and then of course we'll talk about that card. And it gives me an opportunity to just stare at it for a few minutes. We have the 9 of Pentacles, 9 of Wands, and the World card. Seven of Swords. That is too many. Two of Wands. I don't know if you were able to see how that card flipped out. And then we have the Wanderer in the reverse. This is how it fell on the floor, so I'm keeping it reversed. Interesting. Very interesting. All right, I definitely want to read from the book on this card. Just see what it says. So it says you are being called to get grounded, to ensure that your luminous field is clear and your inner well is full. If you're not grounded, it is all too easy to get swept up in other people's energy and mistake it for your own. Your boundaries will become blurred as you are absorbing other energies around you and struggling to define what is their stuff and what is yours. If you pulled this card, you are very likely an empath or highly sensitive person and need time alone to fill up your well, balance your energy, and get grounded. There are 2 types of people, those who draw their energy from others and those who draw their energy from within. Reflect on which one you are and carve out time each day to ensure your well is being replenished. Being sensitive is a superpower, but like all powers, it needs to be nurtured in order to be fulfilled. It is easy to get swept up in the high frequency energies that are swirling around the planet. The quickest and most effective way of clearing all of this from your field is to ground yourself by connecting with Mother Earth. There are many ways to get grounded. One of the most powerful ones is to practice earthing by connecting to the power of Mother Earth. Spend time in nature, put your hands on a tree, your palms are extensions of your heart chakra, or walk barefoot on the earth. It's really interesting because there's these little dots here that could be associated to the chakras. I mean, there's a few, like too many, but I know like there are more chakras than, the 7 that traditionally we see a lot. And obviously, like it said, there's chakras in your hands that are extension of your heart. And what I was thinking before I read that and as I was shuffling is that there's not any green really on this card, which is heart chakra. There's blue up here, which is throat. There's a lot of, purple, pink, orange. Purple is third eye. Pink is, usually crown. That's how I see it anyway. I know the heart chakra is also sometimes depicted as pink. But for me and the way that I, am kind of feeling this myself, it's like crown, third eye, throat, and then orange is sacral. So it's interesting that a lot of these energies are coming from like the top 3 chakras, right? Like the 3 chakras that are above the heart center. But this card is talking about grounding. There are roots down here. I don't know if you would be able to like see that, but there are roots down here. Clearly, I mean, like they have their root center on the ground. And I'm assuming, obviously that's just a depiction of, because when you do like root chakra grounding exercises, that's what they generally tell you is to, envision that there are roots, like literal roots coming out of your root chakra, and they're grounding into the earth. And also anytime I talk about getting grounded, it's more like an energy of like being present. That's what I like feel like in my emotional body when I think of being grounded. Because if we're not grounded, right, then the opposite of that would be, kind of head in the clouds, maybe a bit spacey, right? Feet are not on the ground. And to me, that feels, flighty, a bit, just like all over the place, daydreamy, kind of living in fantasy a little bit, which of course is not a bad thing all of the time. But if we go there in order to resist or, like distract ourselves from the present, then that kind of starts blurring the line of healthy versus like not. So anyway, like I was saying, like when I think of grounding, I think of being present, but also not so grounded that you're immovable, like that you cannot be moved forward or aside or whatever, right? So it's like wanting to be firmly planted in the ground, where it's like you're more steady on your proverbial feet, but not so grounded that it would take like, a semi truck or something to like move you. I'm thinking about when people have to like dig up really big trees from the ground and they like tie a rope around it and then tie that to a truck or something, because they need the horsepower. Anyway, so you get my point. You're like, yeah, Liz, I get it. Thanks. Okay. So we start with a 9 of Pentacles. Pentacles is earth. We have the world, which is obviously earth. But the 9 of Pentacles is about stability, I was talking about that with this card, but with it being Earth is very grounded. So I love that the first card that came out is Earth, but it's about, nines are about individual completion. And Pentacles have to do with our money, how we get it, how we spend it, how we save it, how we invest it. It's our time, it's our physical body, it's our physical house. Literally anything in the 3D. Anything we can touch, anything that has, monetary value or any value at all, sentimental value. No, that's more emotion, actually. So with the 9 of Pentacles, it's reaching a place of individual success, financial stability, financial independence. Or it's like you're right on the precipice of that, because in this depiction, there are 8 stars on their hand already. The 8 of Pentacles talks about putting in the practice. It's, working on something, putting your time and energy, your physical presence into something in order to, be proficient in it or bring it into fruition, kind of build it into something that you envision. It's like reaching a goal. So there's already these 8 pentacles on the hand, which tells me that this is something that you've already been working on for some time. And then we have this, 1 star that hand is reaching for, and it's like that missing piece to the puzzle, or like that one last thing. So, this, again, it could be something that is coming in. It could be a promotion. It could be something to where, something happens that makes you feel more stable financially or within your body, like something to do with your health or something to do with your home. And then it's paired with the 7 of Swords. So the 7 of Swords have to do with our mind. It's our perception of reality, the way that we think about things, the way that we communicate our thoughts. There's a truth and honesty aspect to it, like divine truth, objective truth with swords. There's no emotion involved with it. So, like I said, it would be objective or logical truth. Also, it deals with our ego, because that's generally where we hear our ego is in our minds. And our ego is created by the stories that we attach to experiences, whether they were the stories that we came up with or if they were, the stories that were fed to us. And the 7 of Swords is about deception, trickery. There's like a manipulation aspect to it, because traditionally in the tarot, there's a figure that's kind of creeping away with these 7 swords. Like they're creeping away from somebody's camp with those 7 swords. So, right, like it has this kind of like trickery aspect, but also risk. And the reason why they're doing that is because they are disarming their enemy. How can your enemy fight you if they don't have the tools in order to do so? So that's where that manipulation comes into effect. And obviously, like how people use manipulation in order to kind of gain an upper hand, whether that's you or somebody else in your life. But also, I see the 7 of Swords as being the card of like us fooling ourselves. It's, self-sabotage, the ego story, those shame stories. Brene Brown calls them gremlins, like the stuff that starts creeping in when you start reaching a place of success, or you start getting closer to a goal that you've set for yourself. Or this could even be the glass ceiling, right? And then, these thoughts start creeping in like, I don't deserve this. I can't do this. Who am I to think that this is possible, or that I could take this leap, or I could get to this place of stability. And with these paired together, this is telling me, or I have this feeling that you're closer to the Nine of Pentacles than you think you are. Or, you've already reached the status of, the Nine of Pentacles, where your living situation is stable. Your finances are stable, like your health is stable. Not necessarily like good or bad, it's stable, right? But it's like, it's that thing of like not allowing yourself to like celebrate your own successes. Like you just can't see it that way for whatever reason, because sure, like a few months ago, a few years ago, like that was the goal, but now that you're getting closer to it, it's like that maybe I just wasn't like reaching far enough, because if it's possible for me to actually reach this thing, then I wasn't thinking big enough, which, it's like one thing to challenge yourself, but it's another thing to like challenge yourself out of like putting yourself down, or, like coming from an energy of put down or let down, or, it really just kind of depends on like, what are the how is this happening in your head? Right? Like this would be happening in the actual real world, like in the 3D. This is what's happening in your head. Like you're just not seeing it that way, which is exactly probably why this grounded card is coming out. Because like I was even saying before we even got into the reading, when I see getting grounded, that tells me there's a need to be present. And of course this is talking about, like releasing other people's emotions, and that can be needing to cleanse yourself of, because that is very very real, picking up other people's, like absorbing other people's stuff. So it is very necessary to, like kind of protect yourself, cleanse, do all that. And you can even do that by, I'm laughing because I don't tell a lot of people about this, but you can even do that by talking to trees. I mean, it literally mentioned in the book, even putting your hands on a tree, like your palms on a tree, right? I mean, certainly you can do that, but I love talking to trees. And if you ask a tree if you can talk to it, it'll tell you yes or no. Like you'll just get a feeling, try it. But like, there's been so many times, and especially like with it getting warmer now, there's been so many times in the past where if there are just like a lot of things kind of swirling around in my head or in my emotional body, like anytime when I go on a walk with my dog, I'll talk to the trees that we pass, and I set the intention, or I ask them, because you know what trees do, right? They transmute energy, right? Like their leaves photosynthesize and then they create oxygen and blah, blah, blah. Like all that stuff that like trees do, right? I don't know like all the scientific terms. I won't go into all that with you, but I just like, I ask them if they could like just transmute the energy, like cleanse it, transmute it, just get it off of me. And they'll tell you, I swear, I'm not crazy. I might be crazy, but try it. Have a conversation with a tree. Then you'll end up finding like your favorite tree and be like me, a crazy person out there talking to a tree, dumping all your problems on a tree. But then I literally like imagine it transmute, like cleansing the energy through its leaves. And then, like it just becomes energy, like cleansed, pure energy that would be available for whoever needs it, including me. But, whenever anybody asks for strength or the energy to do something, it's like it's out there, right? So, okay. And then we have the 9 of Wands. So we have 2 9s. Like I said, we have 2 7s out here. And the 9 of Wands is about going through it. The 9 of Wands is the Wounded Warrior card. Wands are fire. I also find it interesting that the one air card that we have out here is the 7 of Swords. Air is Libra energy, right? So the Nine of Wands is a Wounded Warrior card. Wands are about action, communication, creativity, passion. It's also information. It could be technology, but by trying things, we get information. That's how we acquire wisdom and knowledge, right? So you're out there trying shit, and it's like, this is what works, this is what doesn't, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. And the Nine of Wands, like when we get there, it's like, man, life has really kicked my butt a bit lately. And the message behind the Nine of Wands is to rest, but don't give up. It's like you're almost there. You're almost, to the end, because like I said, the 9 is individual completion. So there is something that it's like the struggle that you've been going through is complete on a certain level, and you do have the availability to rest. Maybe you don't see it that way with the 7 of Swords being out here, but it's like, give yourself a break. Like if you have been hustling for however long, maybe the majority of your life, then this is like, give yourself an opportunity to like take a breaky poo, reset, right? Decide what you want to do next. I don't know why I just thought about this, but 9 plus 9 is 18, right? Which also simplifies down to a 9. That's interesting too. You might be seeing 9s around, especially like I said, like since there's 2 9s coming out, it might just be something, like if you do start to see that after watching this video, then it's like, just a message about being okay, just something like comforting. And then there's the 2 of Cups in the reverse. I thought this was a 2 of Wands. I don't know if that's what I said before, but literally right until I just said that, I thought this was the 2 of Wands, which is interesting. Did it change at some point? Like, that's weird. But the 2 of Cups is about relationship. It can be romantic. It can be platonic, like just friendships, acquaintances. It can also be business. But it's about shared values, right? Like we start with the Ace of Cups, and the Ace of Cups is usually overflowing. Our cup is full. We're feeling good about ourselves. Cups having to do with our emotions. It's about love. And again, not necessarily romantic love, but just, how are we feeling about ourselves, about our lives, about, our projections of the future and what we're spending our time doing, and, and then we move on. So, with the Ace of Cups, it's overflowing. They're like, we have enough energy to where we can share this with somebody else. And then we move on to the 2 of Cups. And this is, like I said, it's about shared values. You have your Ace of Cups. Somebody comes in with their Ace of Cups. Both people are feeling fulfilled and full within themselves. So there's this like reciprocity thing going on here. It's 50-50. What you're getting, you're giving. What they're giving, they're getting, right? Because like you have the energy to show up, to support, to love, to all of the things, right? And they have the same emotional availability and maturity as you do. So again, right, there's this kind of like circle thing happening here, because this hand will be dropping this moon. This hand is, sending up this moon. So it's not 90-10. It's not 30-70. It's 50-50, ho. I don't know why I needed to say it like that, but I did. I think it's also, like rare for that to happen. Not impossible, But it's like, it's like meeting the right people. So with it in the reverse, it's literally the opposite of all that shit that I just said. And especially, like these two paired together, I mean, you could have had not that great of experience in relationship. This can even be recognizing that you have elevated or grown past a current relationship that you have, whether that's a job, whether that's a romantic relationship, or like your friend group. And this getting grounded card would be like it's like about being confident within yourself. Because I mean, even in this card, like their back is straight. And that to me, for whatever reason, like that to me is like standing out as confidence, like having a backbone, right? Like that saying. And then we have the World card, and I love that the World is at the end. It's not like right at the end, but it's at least in the last row, because whatever is happening in here, it's over. To put it bluntly, the World shows up to show us that the lessons that we needed to learn, we learned. What we needed to get out of a situation, a journey, a relationship, a contract, whatever, we got that out of it. We got the lessons that we needed to learn about this journey. It's the Fool's journey, right? I mean, we start with the Fool, which is 0, and then, we go through the whole journey, and the World is like, that's the end of said journey. And it also shows up to tell us that there is something that needs to end in order for something new to begin. Like there's a new journey to be started here. I know we don't have the Fool card out here, but we first have to make it through the World card. And then the Wanderer in the reverse. Let me grab the book, because the Wanderer talks about, here, I'll just read it like upright. We'll just read it. Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah. This card represents the I am presence, the multidimensional part of our consciousness. It is your past, present, future self combining to make up the sum of you as a spiritual being in your physical body. It is your connection to source energy and the ability to manifest. This card is asking you to connect with your I am presence, to interact with others from a place of love, to be mindful and appreciate the moments you find yourself in. It's a reminder of the importance of being present in everyday life. Oh my effing God. And then in the reverse, it says feeling separate from your spirit, unappreciative, ungrateful, not grounded, feeling disconnected, loneliness, isolation, duality of self. That's like being, what do they call it in Stranger Things? I can't think of the word now. Well, if you watch Stranger Things, you know what I'm talking about. Like where Pam went. Is that her name? Anyway. So it's interesting that this card comes out at the end, and this card is literally talking about getting grounded. And it's like the World is not happening because you're not grounded. It's literally almost like a decision. Especially with air, right? Like, because air is ruled by the mind. It's like you're one decision away from changing things. We have the 7 of Wands, which is being a bit self-defensive, standing your ground. And then the Ace of Wands is behind that. You know what is so interesting is that this almost looks like a shield or something. Like even a fence or wall, the way that this is set up, and like literally right behind it if you allow this World card to happen and actually allow yourself to get grounded. I mean, if you're not like in the practice of getting grounded, there's a lot of great videos on YouTube, like guided meditations that can walk you through getting grounded. Or like I said, that envisioning that there's literally roots growing out from your root chakra, or even your feet. Like if you can't sit on the actual ground, but if you're sitting in a chair or something, you can just imagine roots coming out of your feet and literally going into the ground and even wrapping around the earth's core, right? Like envisioning the earth's core, whatever that looks like, however that comes into your mind. And then imagining these roots just wrapped around it. And then just sit there for, like as long as you can and just kind of feel yourself connected literally to the earth, right? So it's like if this were to happen, and if you were to kind of let up on, whatever the Seven of Wands is, because sometimes the Seven of Wands is a good thing, right? It's like, it's standing behind your goals. It's, sticking up for yourself and, putting your foot down, which is sometimes a good thing. But also, is it preventing this Ace of Wands from coming in? The Ace of Wands is like that spark of life, which is very sacral, because that's about creativity and our passions and, just kind of like that inner fire. The clouds are clearing on this card too. So there's this new beginning that's available here that would almost even kind of set you on a new path. The Page of Pentacles, this is like the apprentice. This is a new, whatever this passion is or whatever this is, it could set you off on researching something new, or, it could be a new job. It's like the beginner's mindset. And with Pentacles, right? Like anything having to do with Pentacles. The Page of Cups. 2 pages. The Page of Cups is very imaginative, playful. Very interesting. Oh gosh. And if you're still here, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm trying to get better at like these self plugs, which I'm just not very good at. But if you are still here, I love that. Thank you. And if you haven't done so already, I would love if you liked the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, even if it's just a couple emojis. I love emojis. But my intention, my energy is like pouring into catching the YouTube algorithm train and growing this beautiful channel and this beautiful community. And of course, I cannot do that without you. So any available help you have for that, I would love that. And otherwise, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.